As you're journeying through your piles less travel, it may be to a point that you have decided to sell some of your items. If you're a first time seller, as we've shared thoughts with in future videos, there is different levels of opportunity to sell your merchandise. It really continues into a pure business format. You are basically having an item and you are having a transition to where you get money for that item. That's a very good thing and can benefit you greatly as you reduce the piles. The first level is the garage sale. It is the most inexpensive means and the easiest because you don't have to transport your items from one place to another. The cost is minimal in advertising. Usually, local papers have a minimal fee. Community radios may announce word of mouth. You can put signs around letting people know and the directions. There are some things that are important. If you do place signs, please make them sturdy and large enough for people to read. There is nothing more frustrating to a good garage seller to go up from post to post and see wadded up little sheets of paper. Please make your signs legible. They can only find you if the directions are clear. Common sense. After the sale, take them down. As you go through your items pricing for a garage sale, get an idea of how much you would like to get out of it. That's your profit margin. You can keep the prices lower at a garage sale because you don't have the expense of transportation, traveling, or a more expensive rental fee. So it is a real benefit to have a garage sale for a lot of items. Don't be overly influenced by the American pickers, the storage shed buyers, or all of the bombardment of TV that you have something that is worth $5,000 when in reality it is only worth $5. It will benefit you in getting rid of your items to keep the pricing right. In addition, you will sell more of that item. One of the things throughout, no matter which level you decide as, people want a bargain. They may ask you to reduce your prices. So as you're pricing items for your garage sale, you may want to do the 5 to 15% more so that you can come down. That's part of the fun is the haggling and the negotiation of throughout the different levels of in buying secondhand or new merchandise. When displaying in your yard, display neatly so that people can find your items. One way of doing that is organizing your kitchenware, utensils in one area, your clothing in another, your books in another, your hobbies, etc., etc. That makes it easier for people to find. It also causes a transition of, which we'll talk a little bit more, in laying out your items. Also, please be fair to your customers. If it has a crack or a broken place or it doesn't work or the clothing is stained in some small area or the zippers don't work or the button, please don't put those out. Or if you do, if it is something that might be worth, let the customer know. If you're a customer, it goes back, beware. It is important. But this is your reputation too as a person. So only usable, nice things. If it needs to go into the trash, place it in the trash. If it needs to go to the shelter or the Goodwill as a donation, please do that. And after your garage sale, consider that too. Location of a garage sale is very important. If you're in an exterior part of the city or at a distance away or even inside the city limits easier, you may want to get with a few of your neighbors and see if you could have several garage sales in close proximity. That would certainly help you. Again, these are only simple things, but it's a good way to start for beginners, or if you have so many piles, it's a good way to do it. Check your city regulations and your ordinances. If you're in a housing or subdivision, make sure that you're allowed to have garage sales and adhere to the policies. Also, be considerate of your neighbors in the parking situation. It's important that we do it good ways so that people will return to you and buy more. One of the limitations of a garage sale, customer building, maybe only 2 or 3 times a year. But there's so many people that go on a regular basis. If you have a good garage sale, they're going to remember you. The second level is flea markets. Expense goes up a little bit more, but still very reasonable. You have to haul your merchandise, so you have to feed in the gas cost, the transportation cost, and the added cost of the space at the flea market. You'll also need tables, canopies, something good to display your items on. So you're probably going to have to mark up your items a tad bit to reach that profit level that you want. The more cost into a sale, the more you have to fee in as that to your item. So, check out local flea markets. Most, even rural towns, have within a 50-60 mile approximation 3 to 4 good flea markets. Go check them out. Look at the number of vendors, look at the atmosphere, look at how many people come. As people, it's a good thing to know before you try to sell your merchandise. If you do flea marketing and you do it every time, usually they're once a month, you will build up a clientele. So again, it's important pricing, slightly underprice your competitors, displaying. And in flea markets, you can begin to really work on the display system, as do stores. Grocery stores, Walmart, large department stores have certain items in the back of the store to pull your customers backwards. For example, milk. They always have it in the back, so you have to go through the store with the hopes they buy something else. Setting up your stand in a flea market, you may want to look at what you put in the back to pull people all the way back. Another thing that you might do is have a very nice flea free box at the back to entice people to come back all the way back to look at your merchandise. Again, arranging, assorting, and displaying enhances your opportunity. The profit margin is a little higher, your prices will be a little higher for the profit margin, but keep that in perspective also. If you overprice, you're not going to buy a clientele. The next is consignment stores. Again, the cost is a little bit more. There's a permanency. Most are open several days a week. You can have a variety and array of merchandise, or you can specialize in some type of format: glassware, patterns, fashions, vintage clothing. You can develop a niche within that and enhance your sellability. Owning your own store becomes the most expensive, and few of us will have that, so we'll not spend a lot of time on that one. But again, the 3 levels, 3 different profitabilities. Take in consideration what you have, and if you want a $5 or $10 profit, keep it within that frame reference. American Pickers, Storage Wars is only TV for the most part. Yes, some of us will all find some rare entity in our life, but don't put in an emotional price. If you have questions on pricing, certainly there's Google, there's books, there's eBay, there's different ways you can quickly find a fair marketable price. Remember, as a customer, you want to pay a fair price. So does the world around you. Who don't want to buy something broke or cracked? So does the world around you. Take your signs down, be neat. Aside from those physical, we have cyberspace and social media and the wonderful internet. eBay, Estes, Bonanza, all of these sites allow you to sell with a minimal expense. Some are in an auction format, some are in a set price. As everybody knows, eBay has been there the longest. Etsy is second, I think, and they have crafts, but they also have some other wonderful vintage items. So look at that site too. Bonanza is a really unique and wonderful selling site. Check it out. They each have different fees, different processes. If you're selling on those, take into consideration the packaging fees and the cost of mailing. There are different components to that: USPS, Federal Mail, FedEx, your boxing, and your supplies. When you're wrapping and packaging, make sure that you understand the importance of getting your items there in good condition, because you also will build up a clientele, and these are very close to having your own stores. Pricing, Walmart said it best, demonstrated it best. Keep it low, you'll have more customers. With the invasion of imported items, some things that used to be quite expensive are no longer expensive. You can get them at Dollar Tree, dollar stores, Walmart. So when you're selling your items, take that into consideration. It will certainly enhance your customers. The more customers, the more sales, the more profitability, and the more you can work at home. I know these are just little simplistic thoughts, but hopefully they will help as we journey through the paths less traveled. Don't be the weakest link in looking at ways to better serve humanity with all of the fine things in our piles.